Hey everybody, I'm Sean Townsend. All those times we comment on each other's posts, well, now you know exactly who I am. So, the research question that I chose to talk about was why is there a huge pay gap between the NBA and the WNBA? And exploring the pay gap between the NBA and the WNBA players, it is essential to contextualize the discussion within a broader framework of gender inequality and various social structure factors that perpetuate it. My research question dove into why male basketball players are entitled to significantly higher compensation than their female counterparts, despite both leagues requiring similar level of skill, dedication, and athleticism. So I went back and read Jennifer Baumgartner's piece, Is There a Fourth Wave and Does It Matter? I examine how contemporary feminism intersects with popular culture and media representations. This gave me a lens through which to analyze disparities in pay and visibility between male and female athletes, considering how societal norms and expectations shape these dynamics. Annette Kuhn's work on women's genres, particularly melodrama and soap opera, shed a little bit of light too on the historical aspect of women's sports in the realm of lesser entertainment. The historical context is important for understanding the devaluation of women's athletics compared to men, contributing to the pay gap. Susan Schultz-Zuma's exploration of the suffragist movement, focusing on figures like Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Alice Paul, highlighted the ongoing struggle for gender equality and the necessity of direct action to effect change. This framework informed my analysis of the systemic barriers that female athletes face in advocating for their compensation and their recognition. Angela McRobbie's examination of post-feminism and popular culture provided some little bit of insight into the ways in which mainstream media pushes stereotypes and reinforces gender hierarchies. This lens helped me dissect and understand the stories surrounding male and female athletes, including perceptions of value and worth based on gender. Eve Ng's structural approach to feminist societal media strategies offered practical insights into how movements can challenge existing power structures and amplify marginalized voices. This perspective informed my consideration of potential avenues for advocacy within the sports industry, leveraging social media and community organizing to demand equitable treatment of female athletes. Ruth Frankenberg's exploration of intersectionality of feminism and racism pushed me to consider how race intersects with gender in discussions of pay equity, particularly in the context of the WNBA, where a significant portion of players are Black women. This intersectional analysis is essential for understanding the full complexity of the pay gap and its implications for different communities. So, for example, Angel Reese, I think, is a much better player than Caitlin Clark. This is both their rookie year, but Caitlin Clark, since she went number one in the draft, she's getting she's getting more money than Angel Reese, who is a better overall player. But who knows? We'll find out if either one of them are really worth the money that they're getting paid, which is like 80,000 for the first year. Camille Preaker's critique of media portrayals on which female journalists as unethical or sensationalistic highlighted the ways in which gender biases permeate professional spheres, including sports journalism. This perspective informed my examination of media coverage of male and female athletes, considering how stereotypes and double standards shape public perceptions and contribute to disparities in pay and recognition. Marian Meyer's research on African American women and violence further underscores the importance of intersectional analysis in understanding the disparities within the sports industry. By examining how gender, race, and class intersect to shape experiences and opportunities for female athletes, I gain a better understanding of the structural barriers that contribute to this pay gap. Janelle Hobson's exploration of celebrity feminism and #Black Girl Magic as resistant imaginaries provided inspirational inspiration for reframing the narrative around female athletes and challenging dominant narratives of worth and value. This perspective, informed by my advocacy for greater recognition and compensation for female athletes, is highlighting their achievements and contributions both on and off the court. And synthesizing these diverse perspectives, my final project aimed to illuminate the systemic inequalities that underlie the pay gap between the NBA and WNBA players, and to advocate for concrete steps toward gender equality within the sports industry. By drawing on feminist theory and intersectional analysis, I sought to empower my audience, which is you, to critically engage with these issues to work towards meaningful change. This project applies to our course materials by integrating theoretical frameworks and empirical research to analyze real-world phenomena through a feminist lens. By examining the pay gap between male and females, I address a broader question of gender inequality and representation within popular culture and media, drawing connections between theoretical concepts and practical manifestations of different gender power dynamics. So according to the New York Times, the pot of money for the NBA for the players is salary based on a percentage of the revenue. The NBA generates annual revenue of about between $8 to $10 billion a year. So the men get a larger percentage of the revenue than the women do. The men also play 82 games where the women play 40 games. They play a 40-game season. There are 12 teams. So for the 2024 season, for the WNBA, it starts May 14th and goes to September 19th. They have TV partners, which is ABC, ESPN, ESPN2, ION, CBS, CBSSN, Amazon Prime, Video, NBA TV. So the NBA is still broadcasting WNBA games. The number of games played by the WNBA teams has increased from the 28 games in the first season to 34 to 36 last year in 2022. Now in 2023, 40 games will be played. So they will be getting paid for 40 games, including the playoffs, which in the finals, which is a best 3 or 5 series. So the first team to win 3 games in the playoffs and the finals is going to be the winner of that series. So the NBA plays more games. They play 82 games, plus on top of another 28 games, which is 109 games. The men have a much more grueling and involved schedule, and they get paid for that. This is why the WNBA doesn't have the money that they should. The WNBA makes about $200 million a year, as opposed to the NBA making 8 to 10 billion a year. This is the reason for the pay gap. This is the reason for the difference. The NBA is really established, has been around since the 1945, 1946, and they have built it, and it's been built up. The NBA is trying to help the WNBA build, but it's just, honestly, I think people don't really want to watch. After we sit and we watch all the nonsense and the shenanigans that goes on in the NBA, regular NBA season, then we go to the playoffs and the finals, and you have all these discussions and all this barbershop talk and all this madness. Now we got to sit here again and go through the same crap. People really don't want to watch the WNBA. I think that the issue with Brittany Griner going to Russia and was being in prison for 10 months definitely played a huge role. And I think she was in prison for much longer because she was a black woman. If LeBron James took his butt over there and he was was coming back with some weed or some oil or the CBD oil, whatever it was, he wouldn't have been over there for 10 months. But I think because the Russia wanted to make a statement, because this is a black woman, she was over there and was jailed for 10 months. Do I think it's right? No. I know I went over the 5 minutes, but this is a huge topic that I had to really talk about. And I think I'm going to end the video right here. Goodbye.